A very good o'clock to all the students. Today we will start a new chapter, chapter number 10, Locating Places on the Earth. This chapter is all about the model of the Earth, which is known as globe. On globe, we can see two types of lines are there. One are horizontal lines and the other are vertical lines. So, these lines were drawn on a globe since it is spherical in shape. So, for us, it is difficult to locate a place on the earth. The earth has a spherical shape, so it was difficult to find or locate a place on it. That's why we made imaginary lines which run from east to west and others which run from north to south. The lines which are horizontal and run from east to west are known as latitudes or parallels, and the lines which run from north pole to south pole are known as longitudes or meridians. These lines form a net or a grid like this. What is a net? A net is an intersection of horizontal and vertical lines. Here you can see that there are horizontal lines and the vertical lines are intersecting them at some places. This forms the shape of a net. Now this net helps us to locate places easily on the earth by describing the two numbers, the latitude and the longitude of a place. Now we will study about the latitudes. The lines of latitudes are east-west circles around the globe. Since globe is a spherical model, so they cannot be straight lines, okay? East to west running lines form a circle, a complete circle, okay? So these lines of latitudes are circles around the globe. Equator is the 0-degree latitude. Why it is known as equator? Here you can see a red circle in mid of the globe. This circle is known as equator because it divides the earth into two equal parts. That is why it is known as equator. And what is the measure of equator? It is 0-degree latitude. Okay. It runs through the center of the globe. Okay. And it divides the globe into two equal parts. There are 2 points on the globe on extremes. One is North Pole, 90-degree north latitude, and other is South Pole, 90-degree south latitude. Now, as I told you, the equator divides the earth into two equal halves. Okay, these halves are known as hemispheres. Okay, hemispheres means half spheres. Okay, here you can see that the equator is going through the globe and you can see that two equal parts are being formed on either sides of the equator. This part is equal to this part. Okay. The part towards North Pole, here is the North Pole, will be known as Northern Hemisphere, and here is the South Pole. So the part towards the South Pole will be known as Southern Hemisphere. Okay. So it divides the earth into two hemispheres, Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere. The upper half of the earth towards the north is known as Northern Hemisphere, and the lower half of the earth towards the South Pole will be known as Southern Hemisphere. So Europe is a continent which is in the Northern Hemisphere, and Australia is a continent which is in the Southern Hemisphere. Our continent in which we live, which is Asia, lies in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay, this is the Asian continent and which lies in the Northern Hemisphere, which means that our country India, here you can see that our country India also lies in the Northern Hemisphere. We can also divide it into Eastern and Western Hemisphere. Okay, Western and Eastern Hemisphere. Now we will talk about what are the features of latitudes. First of all, as I already told you, these lines run parallel to each other. Okay, means the distance between these lines is always equal. What are the parallel lines? The parallel lines are those lines which never meet or intersect with each other when extended to any length, which means that these lines have equal gap between them. Okay, here you can see that the distance between two lines is same throughout. Okay, it does not change. So these lines run parallel to each other at equal distance from each other. Okay. Second point is all parallels form a complete circle. As I already told you, the globe is a spherical model, so there cannot be straight lines. Okay, so the lines of latitudes are complete circles. Now equator is the biggest circle, which I told you is lies in the middle of the globe. This is the biggest circle. It gradually becomes shorter as we move away from the equator towards the poles. The circles become shorter when we move towards the poles from the equator. Equator is the biggest circle. Now here you can see that circles are becoming smaller. Okay, smaller one by one, and this is the smallest circle. Okay. Now numbering of the parallels. The numbering of the parallels start from the equator, which is located at 0 degree. As I told you, the equator is located at 0 degree. From the 0 we start the numbering of the parallels or latitudes. Now the parallels are marked from 0 degree to 90 degree. These parallels are drawn at an interval of 1 degree, okay, which means that the distance between the parallels is of 1 degree. So, how many parallels will be there from 0 to 90? There will be 90 parallels in the northern hemisphere and 90 parallels in the southern hemisphere. So, in total, there are how many parallels? In total, there are 181 parallels, 90 in the northern hemisphere, 90 in the southern hemisphere, and 1 is equator. So, total will be 181 parallels. The last point is that the parallels in the northern hemisphere, means towards the north pole, are marked as N, and the parallels in the southern hemisphere are marked as S, which means that 1 degree north, 2 degree north, 1 degree south, 2 degree south, 10 degree north, 20 degree north, okay, like this. So students, that is all for today. I hope you understood the concept of latitudes and longitudes. Do read the chapter, revise whatever I have told you in today's video, and identify the important parallels from the globe. Tomorrow we will discuss the important parallels. Thank you.